So this is another reality in business video, and we'll be discussing common school policies unknown to students despite being included in student manuals. So student manuals, things students and their parents or guardians should understand when they enroll in a school are contained in this document or handbook. The following discussion mostly applies to private schools. So there are issued regulation manuals from the DepEd and the CHEd, which are adapted by private schools. So one of them is Manual of Regulations for Private Schools in Basic Education, and then the other is Manual of Regulations for Private Higher Education. So who among you dared to read the student handbook? No one? So I'm a reader of anything and everything, so yes. One time I was bored with nothing to read, so I picked up the student handbook. So the following are the usual school policies that most students seem to be unaware of until they're in a situation when these policies apply and then they're complaining. Alright? So first is refund upon withdrawal of enrollment. So based on the Manual of Regulations, both in basic education and in private higher education, the school can deduct certain percentages when a student decides to withdraw the enrollment. So there are also guidelines on the allowable period. I say, don't blame the private schools. The regulations are from the Manual of Regulations. DepEd and CHEd know them and they have allowed them to be implemented by private schools. So there's no point threatening the school with, I'll report you to DepEd, I'll report you to CHEd. This is preposterous. Although, yeah, in a way it is preposterous. It's my personal opinion. Anyway, I'm not DepEd, I'm not CHEd, and they know, Karen, they know. Say the official last day of enrollment is January 15, and then the first day of class is January 18. So a student who withdraws his enrollment on the first week from the beginning of classes, that would be, January 18 to 22, the student may be charged 25% of the total amount due for the school term. And then if the withdrawal is done on the second week from the beginning of classes, so that would be January 25 to 29, the student may be charged 50% of the total amount due for the school term, regardless of whether or not he has actually attended classes. And then of course, if the withdrawal happens after the 2 weeks, then yes, the student could be charged with the full amount of the assessment. He's still going to pay the total assessment, alright? Not just the down payment that he gave, he can no longer ask for a refund of that, but he would also be required to pay the balance actually. So, may mga schools na mas mababa yung rates nila, instead of 50%, 10% lang or 25%. Tapos instead of 100%, 20% lang or 50%, okay? But in accordance with the Manual of Regulations, they are within their rights to charge 50% and 100%, depende kung kailan nag-withdraw yung bata. So really, the point is, don't enroll unless you're 100% certain that you won't be withdrawing, okay? Kapag nakapag-enroll ka na, dire-diretso na yun isang taon, huwag ka nang mag-drop or huwag ka nang mag-stop, okay? Another situation, you decided not to inform the school that you're withdrawing your enrollment or basta ka na lang nawala, nag-drop nang walang paalam. So you simply stop going to school. You'll still be charged the full amount of the assessment. Babayaran mo pa rin, okay? Yung buong charges, fees, school fees for the whole year, alright? And then if you wish to continue your education later on with the same school, you must pay your balance first. Diba? For academic year, you enrolled pero you didn't bother withdrawing officially. Hindi ka nag-apply ng withdrawal or hindi ka nagsabi. Or if you wish to transfer schools, kailangan mo pa rin bayaran yung balance mo bago mo makuha yung credentials mo. Alright? Most schools require that upon enrollment, you submit your previous year's report card, your diploma from your high school or grade school, your birth certificate, your TOR from a previous college. So when you think about it, the reason is for them to have a hold on you. If you suddenly stop attending classes, well, it's alright. It's possible that you'll still come back for your credentials and you still have to pay your outstanding balance before the school can return your credentials to you. So, walang kawala. Okay? The main point is still, siguraduhin mo, natatapusin mo yung isang buong taon kapag nag-enroll ka. Ikaw ang lugi kapag tumigil ka. Of course, this isn't the case kapag nasa public school ka, di ba? Kaya lang kapag doon ka nag-aaral kasi wala namang fees na babayaran. Okay? Now, what's the point of these regulations? One is, of course, to discourage withdrawal. Tuloy mo na yung education mo, best. Naka-enroll ka na. Pag nag-withdraw ka, mauubos yung down payment mo. Kung na-late ka pa ng pag-file ng withdrawal, babayaran mo pa yung charges para sa buong taon din naman. So, mag-aral ka na nga naman. Okay? Unless your reason is very serious, health, mental problems, financial problems. So, wala tayong magagawa, but know the consequences. You will still have to pay that amount unless i-appeal mo, di ba? So, discretion na ng school, ng kanilang management, if i-allow, meritorious cases na tinatawag kung papayagan ka na hindi mo nabayaran yung balances mo or something like that. Okay? And then second is to protect the schools from unnecessary withdrawals. Bata, estudyante. Merong iba dyan, akala mo mauutak. Mag-enroll, magwe-withdraw para yung pera ay mapunta sa kanila. Akala mo makakalamang sa mga nagpapaaral sa kanila, hindi man lang naawa doon sa nagbabayad ng school fees, magulang man yan or guardian. So, most schools, they require the parents to receive the refund instead of the students, okay? Hinihingi din yung contact number ng parents para makausap ng school personnel. I-check, magwi-withdraw po sa enrollment, sige dito ganyan, totoo po ba? Okay? So, yung iba nahuhuli na nagsisinungaling, nagugulat din yung magulang or yung guardian, aba hindi po, teka, bakit nagwi-withdraw ng enrollment, okay? So, yung ibang estudyante, ito, may instances din na experience namin, di ba? Yung iba nahuhuli na, sinusobrahan yung subjects na ini-enroll. Tapos, kapag naka-enroll na, ida-drop yung isa or dalawa para ma-refund yung nabayad na fees, okay? Pag full payment lang naman, may refund. Tapos, again, i-check with the parents or the guardians. Kapag installment yung scheme ng student, ibabawas na lang dun sa outstanding fees niya, yung ida-drop niya na subject. Okay? So, not sure if all schools do this, but it's a good control on the part of the school kung i-check with, the parents, yung mga pinagagawa nitong mga estudyante na to. So, imagine mo, kung 10% or 20% of the enrolled students ay biglang mag-withdraw ng enrollment. So, too many papers to process, too many reports to prepare, matrabaho, abala. Tapos, with regards to the financial situation of the school, detrimental din, okay? Pera na naging bato pa, okay? Maraming expenses ang school, normally kinakapos din yung mga yan. Pinagkakasya na lang sa budgeting. Dinadaan sa control, pag-igpit ng sinturon, okay? So, allowing them this measure na kapag nag-withdraw ang student, may babayaran pa rin or may certain portion na mariretain ang school, it's very helpful to their situation. So, reminder, pag mag-enroll, make sure na tutuloy at tatapusin ang taon. Attend ng classes. Kahit wala pang pambayad, basta tapusin mo lang yung taon kasi magbabayad ka pa rin naman, sulitin mo na. Okay? Kesa hindi mo pinasukan pero babayaran mo pa rin naman. Alright? Second, completion of grades. Giving of INC grades and then completing them within a certain period of time. Diba? Again, regulations ng CHEd and DepEd na rin, they allow schools to withhold giving of grades or issuance of credentials kapag yung mga estudyante ay hindi pa nagsasettle ng kanilang accounts or yung balances nila. Okay? It's a measure to ensure na magbabayad muna yung students bago sila magka-grade, bago sila makapag-enroll sa kasunod na taon or sa kasunod na semester, bago niya makuha yung kanyang mga credentials din if balak naman niyang mag-transfer. Okay? So when it comes to completion, there are rules as well. So you must comply with the completion within a certain period of time. Okay? I'm not sure if this depends on the school or if there's a fixed rule for every school. So for example, AY academic year 2019-2020, you got INC grades for some reason, so you must comply with the requirements and get actual grades from your professors before AY 2020-2021 ends, okay, yung kasunod na school year. If you didn't do anything, thinking na you can do it much later, in your last school year, maybe, diba, you will be in for a surprise. You might find out na naglaps na pala yung iyong INC grade. So you need to take the subject again. So if you're a graduating student on your last year in college, this would be a bad situation to be in. Okay? Especially if you're in the last semester already, tapos patapos na rin yung SEM. How are you supposed to take this subject again? Okay, so you can't graduate without a grade on it. So it sounds like a horrible nightmare, right? So I'm telling you now, if you got a grade of INC, best to comply with completion requirements as soon as possible the following semester, okay, or the following academic year. I-comply mo na. Okay, do it. Don't think you can do it at the last minute, okay? So again, 2 things lang naman yung shinare ko. Kapag mag-enroll, make sure na sigurado ka, hindi ka magwe-withdraw kasi kapag magwe-withdraw ka, merong mga charges pa din, okay? And then, secondly, kapag ikaw ay nakakuha ng INC na grade, I have to comply it as soon as possible kasi kapag nag-lapse yan, you would have to retake the subject again. So, alright, that's it. Thanks and bye. So, here is the Manual of Regulations for Private Higher Education, just to show you those clauses. So, we have here Section 99, Denial of Final Examinations, Withholding of Grades, and Refusal to Re-enroll. No higher education institution shall deny final examinations to a student who has outstanding financial or property obligations, including unpaid tuition and other school fees corresponding to the school term. However, the institution may withhold the final grades or may refuse re-enrollment of such student, provided that in case of withholding of final grades, the final grades are duly recorded and submitted to the registrar, together with the final grades of the rest of the students in the prescribed form. Okay, so addition, actually, diba most schools, they have no exam, no permit, no exam policy, but actually you can challenge that Section 99. But although there is a provision on the Manual of Regulations, most schools still implement the no permit, no exam policy because, you know, they still needed the students to pay their dues on time. But in case anyone raised this section, then they can actually allow the student to take the exam even though they have no permit because they still have balances, okay? Then we have Section 100, Refunds and Other Charges. So unless otherwise provided by institutional policies, rules, and regulations, a student who transfers or withdraws in writing within 2 weeks after the beginning of classes and who has already paid the pertinent tuition and other school fees in full or for any length longer than 1 month may be charged 25% of the total due for the school term if he withdraws within the first week of classes, or 50% if within the second week of classes, regardless of whether or not he has actually attended classes. The student may be charged for all the school fees in full if he withdraws anytime after the second week of classes. So that's about it. I just showed you so you know that, I'm not making it up. Alright, so thanks and I'm out.